Judge, before I make some comments, Neosha Smith, who was Neffy's foster mom for the better part of the first 2 years of her life, would like to speak to the court.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to start out by saying that Nefertiti was my baby. That was my precious baby. My precious baby, Tootie, aka Nefertiti, also known as Neffy, the name she didn't want to carry because of you.
Judge, I would ask that all comments be directed to the court and not to my client.
My baby didn't want to be
Yeah,
Neffy.
just a second, Ms. Smith. So if you would, please direct your comments forward to the court, okay? Go ahead.
My baby didn't want to be Neffy. Neffy was abused, and Latasha was the gatekeeper to her hell, as I constantly pleaded with her to free her from her hell. As Latasha hid behind the title mom, treated her like Cinderella, constantly treating her like a punching bag. My baby had a black eye. Latasha calls it and lied. You're a murderer. You're a liar and a thief.
Objection, Judge.
You can't be
The objection's
trusted.
noted, but I'm gonna let Ms. Smith proceed.
You
Go
can't be trusted. You're a lowlife. You're a lowlife. You belong in a cold cell. Tootie was a very good girl. Smart, who made being a mom easy. My precious innocent baby didn't deserve that. Those kids you birthed will hate you for the murdering of their sister. Everyone will know what you did for generations to come. I hope you have a nightmare every night of your life and wake up in the hell you created, exhausted physically and mentally. Hope all the pain and disappointment you created disintegrates you to a dust. Them kids are so better off without you. You let us all down. Just pitiful how selfish, monstrous, demonic your ways left us all in pain. I hurt so bad to the core. This hurt as you knew it would hurt. You didn't give a damn. I hope where you're going, nobody gives a damn about you. You rot in the cell, in the hell that you created. You don't deserve the grace the judicial system gave you. The cell is just the beginning. Just the beginning as life goes on without you. Her name will live on through me. I will be at every parole board hearing with pictures and letters as I should, and as you should be held accountable for your vindictive crime, your hate crime. You hated my baby. Nefertiti, my precious baby. Your name will always live on through me as I have created a truly safe house for emergency foster care children, so this doesn't have to happen anymore.
Thank you, Mayor.
I can wrap my head around losing your cool. I can wrap my head around momentary rage. I cannot wrap my head around putting your child's body in a basement. On January 6th, she starts a series of Google searches. Where does trash go when it's picked up? And on that date, Neosha is texting her. How's my baby doing? How are you doing? She's tiptoeing into a conversation where she's trying to see not just how Neffy is doing, but how Latasha is doing. January 7th, Google search. How long does it take for a child's body to decay? It's buried under a house. How does it smell? Again, Neosha checks in on the 7th. How are you doing? How's the baby doing? How's my baby doing? I'd like to see it. Google searches, dozens of them. Death, decay, smell. How do criminals get rid of bodies without getting caught? What happens to bodies when they're burned? Later that week, Neosha continues to check in, pleading with her. I just want to talk to my baby. I just want to check in. She and Mr. Parks then go to the basement, retrieve Neffy's body, put her in the back of a U-Haul, drive her up to Salt Springs Road and bury her in a shallow grave where she stayed for the next 70 some odd days. She tells this story about how she was in the bath and she's taking a shower and maybe she fell and hit her head and maybe she never really settles on story. But Neffy was not in the bath when she was killed. She's buried with her shoes on. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't something that happened in the bath. This was brutal beating, ending in this 5-year-old's death. You know, we see cases where infants are killed by their parents. Infants are fragile. 5-year-olds are not. I say all these things, Judge, because I want to make sure that when it is time for the parole board to decide whether or not Ms. Mott should be released after 23 years or at some point after that, they should know what this little girl went through. They should know what her life was like. They should know what Ms. Mott did. She certainly, on the ledger that we balance all the time, gets some credit for pleading guilty, for not subjecting the people who loved Neffy to a trial. She gets some credit for acknowledging what she did. But these ledgers are not balanced because what she put her through in life and in death is hard to wrap your head around.
Judge, relative to the incidents that happened, the concealing of Nefertiti's body, there's no question that Ms. Mott has deep, deep regret over this. But what seems to get lost in this is the panic that she felt at that time, not only for herself, but for the other children that she was responsible for. Right? Just, if you read this pre-sentence report, if you look at these reports, every day of Ms. Mott's life was a struggle to survive, right? With 7 children. And yes, with nobody helping her. Judge, there's no winners here, right? But Ms. Mott's a human being, and she deserves the compassion and understanding, frankly, due process that every human being deserves. She's gonna serve her time. She's gonna live with what she did for the rest of her life. Okay?
Ms. Mott, is there anything you'd like to say?
She did say no, Judge, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. First of all, to Nefertiti's family, both her biological family and Ms. Smith and the other people who loved and cared for her like family. I am sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for the tragedy of your loss of Nefertiti. What also struck me, frankly, as I thought and said a prayer about what to say today, it struck me that I believe that Nefertiti is in a better place. She was an angel, and she's with you. And I hope that gives you some small amount of comfort today, as well as bringing this case to a close. I hope that gives you all some amount of comfort today. But sometimes we see things that are just so tragic and so horrific that they almost are beyond comprehension and almost beyond words that can describe it. One of the reasons why concealment of a human corpse is a crime, and it is an aggravating factor in this case, is because that actually speaks to most people, some of our worst fears as human beings. No one wants to die alone. No one wants to be buried in a shallow grave, unmarked. I can't think of anything more tragic and lonely than that. Your actions have deeply affected so many people, primarily Nefertiti, in a permanent and tragic way. But your own family, Nefertiti's family, the people that loved and cared for Nefertiti, in this case has struck the community in a way that very few cases in my 30 years of experience in the criminal justice system and many years as a judge, more so than almost any other case I can think of. And today you must face the consequences of your actions. You must face justice for what you have done. You must face this cold, hard reality for the rest of your life. Based upon your conviction for the offense of murder in the second degree, it's the sentence and judgment of the court that you be sentenced to an indeterminate sentence of 23 years to life to be served in a New York State Correctional Facility